So here that helix that you are observing, it is in a 3-dimension. Okay, so this is your complete helix curve. So if you allow the same point to move in the upward direction, then we will get the next curve. So in your syllabus, we just have the 2D helix curve. Okay, that means we have to draw the front view of that complete helix. So this is how the front view will appear. Okay, so just we have to draw the front view. So in the front view, so we can observe some parameters regarding the helix curve. So one parameter is pitch and second is the helix angle. Okay. So pitch means what? One complete revolution of that point on the cylinder. Okay. So for that one complete revolution, the vertical distance traveled, this is called as a pitch of that helix curve. So you can observe here. So if the point P is starting its motion around the cylinder from this point, okay, then it will complete the revolution along this path, and this is the position of the point after one complete revolution. Okay, so this vertical distance, this is called as a pitch. So I hope you have understood what is meaning of helix from this animation. So where helix curve is used, so helix curve is used to design the spring. So you can observe here. So this is the spring. So spring is generated with the help of the helix curve. So here you can observe some coil size is given. Okay, so in the coil size, there is one parameter that is called as a pitch. Okay, so if you change this, then you can observe in this diagram. So if I give revolution 1, so this is the effect of the pitch. Okay, so pitch means what? For one revolution, suppose if we take this point at the starting point and it is rolling around the cylinder that is on its surface. Okay, then from this point up to this point, this vertical height, this is called as a pitch. So if I reduce this, so this is the effect of the pitch length on that curve. So with the help of this helix curve, the spring is designed in the industries. So this is in a 3-dimension, and this is complete spring. Okay. So this is the practical application of the helix curve. The first two curves, one is a cycloid and second is the involute. Both the curves, they are used to design the gear profiles. Okay, and helix curve, it is used to design the spring. And also it can be used to design the worm gears. So actually I don't have the image for the worm gear. Just a minute. I will show what is meaning of worm gear. So here you can see the worm gear. Okay, so this spiral gear, this is called as a worm gear. Okay, so this is used where we require the highest speed reduction. So generally in the industries, if the motor RPM is very high, okay, and in order to reduce this motor RPM drastically, we use the worm gears. Okay, so in order to design this worm gear, we need the helix curve. Okay, so also it is used in the lathe machines. So in the lead screw, you can observe the helix curve or helix shape. So this is one practical application of the helix curve. So let us see how to draw this on the drawing paper. So this is the problem statement to draw the helix curve. Draw a helix for one convolution. So convolution means it's just a revolution upon a cylinder. The diameter of that cylinder is 50 mm and the pitch for that curve, this is equal to 80 mm. Okay, that means this cylinder, it will have the height 80 mm, cylinder diameter is 50 mm, and the point P for which we will draw the helix, it is moving around that surface of that cylinder. Okay, so now to draw the helix curve, first draw this circle with the given diameter. So that circle diameter is 50 mm. Okay, then draw the rectangle. So its front view will be rectangle. So basically we are drawing the top view and front view for the cylinder. So draw this cylinder. So this height equal to the pitch. Okay, so in this way, draw the rectangle in the front view and top view will be circle. So this is 80 mm equal to the pitch. And this 25 mm radius or 50 mm diameter. Okay, now divide this circle into 8 or 12 equal parts. Okay, so I will show here just by 8 parts. So in this way, divide the circle into 8 parts. And similarly, we have to divide this complete pitch into 8 parts. Okay. So divide this complete line into 8 parts. So for that, you can draw one horizontal line. So right now this is 80 mm, and just we have to divide this into 8 parts. So we can take one division as a 10 mm. Okay. And otherwise, if the distance height is given as some 85 mm, okay, then for that you can draw the horizontal line, inclined line. You can follow the regular procedure. Divide this inclined line into given 8 or 12 equal parts. Okay, and then you can divide this vertical line into equal parts. So now just take the distance in your compass, that is equal to 10 mm. And draw this arc. Okay, so in this way you can divide into 8 equal parts. So if you divide the circle into 12 equal parts, we have to divide this into 12 equal parts. Okay. Now from each part, draw horizontal line. So after this, just give the name in the top view. Okay, similarly, give the names in the front view. So I have taken this P point. So meaning of this P is your curve, it will start from this corner. Okay, so this is the starting point. So after this, just give the name in this sequence 1 to 7. So this is your P point. Okay, so here the curve will start from this point and finally it will end at the P dash point. So now from each point, that is from point 1, 2, and 3, draw the vertical line. Okay, so in this way, draw the vertical lines. So why these lines are required? So these lines, they will give the intersection with the horizontal line. Okay, and this intersection point, it will give the position of the point P as the point P is moving in the upward direction parallel to the axis. Okay, so now we will trace the curve. So therefore, we have to find out the location in the upward direction. So initially, we have the point P here. So I will show this by circle. So this is the initial location. Okay. So observe here this point P in the top view. So it is in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay. So if you observe in the top view, the point P after 1/8 of revolution, it will shift from point P to point 1. Okay. Therefore, find out the intersection of this line with the horizontal line 1. So this is the second position. So this is your point. So this will be point P1. Okay. After that, in the top view, this point P, it will shift the position from P1 to point P2. So find out the intersection of this line with the horizontal line from 2. So this is the next position. After 2, it will shift to the point 3. So this is the point 3, intersection with horizontal line 3. Okay, after 3, it will move to the point 4 in the top view. So this is horizontal line from 4, and this is the vertical line. So this is the intersection. Okay, so this curve, it is visible from this front view. So if this is the direction for the front view, so just imagine we are observing from this direction. Then this portion of the curve, so this is the half portion, it will be completely visible to the observer. Okay. Therefore, we have to join all these points by a smooth curve as a continuous thick line. Okay. And the remaining portion in the top view, you can see after point P4, point will shift to P5, P6, P7, and finally P. Okay. So from this direction, that is from the direction of observer, the remaining half portion, it will be hidden. Okay. And therefore, for the remaining curve, we will show the dotted line. So first find out the position of that point. So for P5, this is the point. After that, this is the position. Sorry. This is P6. This is P7. And finally, this is a P dash, that is a P8 point. Okay. So now you can observe the complete curve. So curve will start from this point. It will pass through the successive points. So this is the visible portion of that curve. And this remaining curve, So this is the hidden curve. Okay, so this is the complete helix curve for one complete convolution around the cylindrical surface, where the given pitch is 80 mm and the circle diameter is 50 mm.